My initial conversations with Baz were just around, I guess, him romanticizing, Elvis Presley and how he wanted to position the film with Colonel Tom Parker and how his character would be involved. And he pitched the character to me that Steve Binder and the Colonel had come head to head, basically at this intersection at the end of 1967 into 68. Because Steve didn't want to do things the traditional way, and Steve didn't give a toss about the Colonel or being pushed around by the Colonel. And I think that was really interesting to me. Obviously, Tom Hanks is an incredible actor. The relationship between Steve Binder and Austin was really sort of interesting because they had to have this creative sort of flow and rhythm that led them to produce this piece together. So Binder and Bones are producing partners ultimately, and they have an electric energy together to be able to use the draw of breaking rules in order to make creative discoveries. That's primarily their motive and their placement in this narrative. And because of that, they have a hugely profound impact, I believe, on Elvis Presley's life, because he himself is at an intersection of change. As I said, from coming from 7 or 8 year period of making sort of crappy movies and of the music industry changing so quickly and so prominently in that time, many bands coming to become popular, that he needs a change, and Binder and Bones are that change, and they're willing to really break barriers and put him on stage and have him talk about his life, which was something that hadn't happened before and something that the Colonel had not let happen before. Austin's an incredible guy and actor. I think off screen he's a great friend. He's incredibly humble and down to earth, and those are things that I think people take for granted over talent a lot of the time. But if you can have that and talent, I think you're the best person on the planet to work with, because it's an incredible experience. He was born to play Elvis Presley. There's no one else that was meant to play Elvis Presley. He's an old soul, and he, I think, understands on a human level what Elvis was going through. Baz works so differently in the best possible way to any director I've worked with before. His attention to detail, I think, is really what struck me probably the first physical production day. He has a sort of intense interest in every element, in every department, right? Whereas sometimes, a director's just glued to the monitor. He's thinking about things, he's physically involved, he pours everything into it. And I think you throw CM into the mix, who's also equally talented and creatively driven and inspiring and so on and so forth. The duo, that's when you have sparks, and that's when I think you have, the Baz Luhrmann film, the Baz Luhrmann experience. And it isn't like anything else that exists, right? So it's been a really formative period of time, both in pre-production and in physical production for me, to work with somebody like that, and also someone who's such an iconic Australian creative and name in the film industry. I think has been really lovely.